chair. To an ordinary man, it's the end. But when serial killer Ivan Moser sat down, he was just getting warmed up.
So what you're telling me is that Moser's still alive? I'm telling you, Ivan Moser is half alive.
Now he's half the man and twice the animal. Unstoppable, unbelievable, indestructible.
Maybe he's like that guy in the Halloweens who keeps getting killed, so he doesn't know if he's dead or just dreaming.
Where is everybody?
Everyone thought he'd just die. But no one ever dreamed he'd become Destroyer, the perfect killing machine.
G'day and welcome back to the channel, Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I am the Ginger Ninja and these are my Trashy Tuesday movie reviews. Now if you're new to my channel, thank you very much for tuning in, stopping by and checking it out. If you're wondering what Trashy Tuesdays is, well, this is a series where I'm looking at the trashiest films that I can find. Now, when I say trashy, I don't mean bad movies. Well, mostly. Trashy just means they've got a certain quality about them. Usually these are films that are from the 80s. So a lot of them are from the heyday of films when I was watching these on VHS. So it's a bit of a reminiscence about these films, but a lot of them aren't the greatest. They are generally made on a lower budget. They have a lot of named actors, but not well-named actors. But you do see the occasional surprising actor in these films. And this one's no exception. Today we are looking at Destroyer from 1988. Now this film was directed by Robert Kirk and it stars Deborah Foreman, Claytonrohner, Jim Turner, lylealzado, and anthonyperkins. Now obviously there are a couple of names that some people will recognize. One that most people should recognize, Deborah Foreman, fantastic actress, been in a lot of genre films from the 80s. And Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates himself. So yeah, that's what I mean. These films do have some really great, well-known actors in them. But anyway, let's get on to the movie. Now, the plot. A prison riot breaks out the moment of serial killer Ivan Moser's electrocution, after which Moser is not found. 18 months later, director Robert Edwards and his company arrive to film an exploitation film titled Death House Dollies. Yeah. Now look, I'm not sure whether I had seen this or not. This is one of those ones, and I'm finding this a lot with these films. There was a rush of these films, a whole slew that came out, and yeah, I mean, why am I not remembering this one? Because, given it stars Deborah Foreman, and I had a major crush on her, seeing her in Waxworks and Sundown, Valley Girl, I'm surprised I did not recall her being in this. But I found it on Tubi and I found it on YouTube, so I figured why not look at this slice of absolute fried gold from the 80s. So strap yourself in as we resurrect the 80s prison horror movie, Destroyer.
Tuesday's never gonna plan. 80s horror in a blood of tan. VHS tapes down midnight fan. Stop by 9 years, leads them through the night. Alien wars in a neon fight. Android streaming, caught in freaking light. Trashy Tuesdays, it's a pure delight.
So kicking it off with the cast. The film stars lylealzado as the murderer who is executed and survives, Ivan Moser. Now, he has a very imposing physical presence and it adds to the genuine menace to the role. He does an okay job, but it's a very over-the-top performance, albeit a very creepy one as well. His acting is more physically intimidating than emotionally nuanced. Deborah Foreman adds a likable final girl charm, and her performance contributes significantly to the film's entertainment value. And it elevates it beyond its low-budget constraints. Although Destroyer did not achieve mainstream success, Foreman's role in this is notable for adding a distinct presence to the film. Then, of course, there's Anthonyperkins, most well known as Norman Bates. He was so underused in a small, eccentric role that doesn't quite match his talent. It's definitely a fun role to see him in, but given his credentials, it actually feels more like it was an extended cameo. Claytonrohner is also in this, and he delivers a competent performance as the leading man, but his performance is somewhat wooden, especially when compared, or when he's side by side Deborah Foreman in her role, and she really elevates this. He unfortunately doesn't bring it up to that main leading role standard. It just fails to really elevate the material he's given. Moving on to the directing and the writing, Robert Kirk helms the story with a tone that sort of weaves between grim slasher horror and B-movie absurdity. The setting, a decaying and abandoned prison, is effectively creepy, but the direction never fully capitalizes on its atmospheric potential. Scenes often feel rushed or disjointed, and it lacks the suspenseful build-up that slasher fans crave. Moser's backstory has potential, but it's underdeveloped and sort of left alone when felt like there was more to it, especially when they bring in the fact that and spoiler alert, his father has been helping him all along. So there was definitely potential to move that forward. The overall script is a bit of a mashup of slasher tropes, prison cliches, behind-the-scenes movie satire, and Frankenstein-esque sci-fi. The issue is when you combine so much into one pot, sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. And unfortunately, this just didn't work in that regards. There are interesting ideas, particularly the concept of this seemingly undead killer that's created by a botched electrocution, but unfortunately, it's not fully explored and it's left sitting there for no reason. The dialogue itself is stilted and a lot of the characters feel underdeveloped or underwritten. There are scenes where this film actually flirts with self-awareness, but it never fully commits to any particular thing and never fully commits to that self-awareness, and it makes it feel like it missed its chance because of this to achieve a true cult status. It's now one of the effects. And look, this is one of the film's stronger aspects. The makeup effects on Ivan Moser were quite effective. They're not great, but they are effective. The kill scenes or death scenes, they do range from standard to quite brutal.
David!
Turn it off!
But there are very few memorable kills in this. It's nothing that really sets it apart from other films of this era or sets it above other films of this era. And it is quite obvious that there were budget constraints. They were very evident within the effects consistency. When they work, they work. But when they don't, they look cheap and they look uninspired. And look, I will say this. Don't go into the film expecting this look from the killer. His post-electrocution appearance, it's 80s rubber effects and it gives him a bit of a scorched and monstrous look, but it's nothing that we haven't seen before, and it definitely does not look like this. That would have been cool. Rewatchability. Really easy one, this one. Will I rewatch this one? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not saying I won't watch it, but it's not going up there with other horror flicks of this era, so I'm definitely not going to rush out and rewatch this one, but it definitely was worth watching at least once. Final verdict. Destroyer is a flawed but fun oddity in the late 80s horror landscape, with a freakishly intense performance from former NFL star lylealzado and a cameo by, well, an extended cameo by legendary horror actor Anthonyperkins. It's definitely worth watching for genre completionists. Just don't expect it to rise above the B-movie roots that it has. Just embrace the cheese and you might have a good time. Overall, for a score, Destroyer gets a 6 out of 10. There you have it. That is my review of the film Destroyer. Have you seen this one? If you haven't, definitely recommend you go check it out. It is available on Tubi, and yeah, if Tubi is available in your area, which I believe it's available most places now, but definitely worth checking out. I know it's available in Tubi in Australia. Other places in the world, maybe not, but get a VPN. Trust me, you won't regret it. Anyway, look, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please do hit that thumbs up button. It would be much appreciated. And if you've listened to me dribble on about this film for so long, might as well hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're notified about my other reviews that are coming out. Obviously, we are looking at prison films for Trashy Tuesday. If you do have any suggestions, chuck them down below. I'd be keen to hear any other movie that might actually suit this theme that I'm running. Now, I've got a few other ones planned, but I don't want to give too much away. Other than that, we've got our Franchise Fridays. We're going through the Alien franchise. I have popped a poll up on my post page. Check that out about what I'll be doing next. Decide which one. It's going to be either Insidious or some other one. I don't know. I can't. Paranormal Activity. Yeah, Insidious or Paranormal Activity. Check it out. Let me know which one you want me to review. I will go through the entire series of those eventually, but this time it's up to you to choose. Anyway, look, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.
In the shadow sharp as a blade, 60 seconds hitting like a fast-paced raid. The energy is breaking down the plot. Vodka shots, taking aim at the bank shot.